Welcome to the release review webinar of October. So this is going to be run every quarter if you're not familiar with this series. So we held the first one back in July. So this will be going through all of the updates that Lumar has released over the last few months. So just to kick off with a quick note around closed captions, you can enable this with the icon at the bottom of the screen and also enable live transcript. And there will also be a recording of the webinar that will be distributed with full subtitles in the coming days. Very quick introductions. Today we're joined by Lila Kavanagh, who is a customer success manager at Lumar. She's been at Lumar now for, remind me, Lila, how many years? 2.5?
2.5, almost 3.
Almost 3 years. And in those 3 years, servicing some of our top clients and has become really knowledgeable in most things SEO. And then myself, head of customer success at Lumar. I've been here for about just coming up to 5 years soon enough. And yeah, I'm really excited to take you all through some of the newest updates that we've released. So quick agenda, we've done some introductions. We'll go through a bit of housekeeping. We'll go through some of the improvements over the last few months, do a very brief roadmap of what's coming up in the next few months, and then if there's any questions, we can do some Q&A as well. So a bit of housekeeping. So questions, please type these in the Q&A box. If we don't cover them in today's session, or you'd rather we reach out to you at another time, we'll definitely take note of the question that you ask. We will be asking for some feedback throughout. This will be about 1 minute just to complete. So we'll probably come up with a bit of a pop-up with like a poll, or if you want to send us any feedback by email, would always be appreciated. And then just to let you know, this is on demand again. So you will be able to receive the recording at a later time in a few days. So this is just a reminder that all the in-app product updates, you'll be able to see these with a pop-up in the app. So you'll notice that there is an icon with like a red notification icon that will show you all the product updates as well as we release them, and some other updates within the app itself. So if there's any fixes, if there's any sort of report updates, any release notes, these will all be within the app as well. But just note that ad blockers may block this. So if you are using an ad blocker, as useful as they are when you're watching on YouTube, it does block things in the Lumar app as well. This is another note around the knowledge base and a monthly email that we send out. So the new knowledge base will have all the articles, the how-to guides, and so on. So anything you can think of to do with what you might need in terms of utilizing the platform, we have within the knowledge base, so all these articles and help articles and so on, as well as the release notes. And then the monthly email as well will be sent out. The first one was sent out last Thursday, and this will have like a roundup of all the product updates as well. So in the last release review webinar that we held back in July, we went over site speed metrics, the change metrics reports, some of the improvements to the all reports and error reviews, some of the more UI updates like the sticky table headers and so on, the subscription page updates, so more like quality of life improvements. And you can find this recording at that link below as well. So if that hasn't already been distributed, feel free to let us know, and we're happy to send it to you as well. So going through what's new, and Lila, I know that you're going to be taking everyone through some of the fresh new stuff that we've got released.
Thanks, Lee. So the first thing that we wanted to go through with you guys today is our AI generated ticket. So the way that you create a ticket is first you have to create a task in the same manner that you guys have been doing. Then once you create a ticket, you will then be able to generate once you create a task, you'll be able to generate a ticket off of the content of the task, which will take into consideration the issues that was identified within the task, and then also give you some information that is important to actually create the ticket to then pass on to your dev team. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to jump into the tool and just show you guys how to create it, and then just to give you also an example of the kind of content that will be in it. So Like I said, once you created your task, the only new step in there is we now have a requirements and how to fix field, which you do not necessarily need to put anything in there, but it can be useful if there's like some kind of specific business requirement, so that it can help contribute to the content that we generate through the ticket. So if there's anything in there, add it in, but it's not a necessity. So once you created your task, then go into the actions button and then click on generate delivery ticket. So Lumi will do its magic, and in a couple of seconds, it will create the ticket for you to copy and paste. So it will have the title, the user story, description with example affected URLs pulled directly out from the task report that you used, how to replicate requirements and how to fix it, and then acceptance criteria. And then you can press the copy button here, and then, like I said, paste it into whatever delivery ticket system that you're using. So the main aim of this functionality was to save you guys some time and potentially to give a good kind of first draft if you're not as familiar with writing the tickets yourself. Or it can just be a really great way to just save some time and also ensure consistency across the board into tickets that you are going to be passing on to other teams within your organization. Following the theme of AI updates, we have also made some updates to our AI model for the accessibility suggested solutions. So the main update here is just that we have updated to be using GPT-4, which improves the quality of the responses. And also if you guys can give like feedback and rate the result of the solution that we suggested, then obviously that can help continue improve this functionality as well. Then the other update relating to AI, so we have also included a disable functionality for AI functionality. No sensitive crawl data is sent to generative LLMs, but some of our AI features may send other crawl summary data to facilitate suggested solutions. So if you do not want your data to be included in that, you can now disable the AI functionality at an account level. So that will affect all the projects that are within your account. So you do have some autonomy over controlling whether the data goes into our suggestions. Then we have also included a clone projects functionality, which can be really great for if you have a lot of projects to set up. So in the past, you could just copy the advanced settings from one project to another, whereas now you're able to copy all of the project settings apart from the manually uploaded crawl sources, such as like URL list and monitor alerts, but everything else can be copied across, which again is there to help kind of help with time saving when you have like a lot of projects that you need to set up. Then we also included a new visualization to show which kind of project type you're currently looking at or working on. So this is something that we had to do as we are now providing different crawls. So obviously we start with SEO, now we do size, speed, and accessibility as well. So this little icon, whatever project you're in, is there to help you kind of keep track of which one you're in. And we have also included the user agent type as well, which will be useful for the next slide. But now you can actually track whether you're using a desktop user agent or a mobile user agent. So that relates to the first size speed improvement that I wanted to talk you guys through. So when we first launched size speed, we could do only mobile user agent crawling, whereas now you can also do desktop. And we have also made improvements to the segmentation on opportunities. So the segmentation works in the same way as it has done in SEO, but due to the slight different way that we present data in SciSpeed, it wasn't available straight off the bat, but now it's available on opportunities, so you can use that functionality in SciSpeed projects as well. And we have also added a audit filter on page details on the left-hand navigation, so you can see straight off the bat on a page details view the FCP, LCP, TBT, and CLS. And then the last improvement is the main thread work breakdown improvement, which is to help clearly show the average wasted seconds for script evaluation, style, layout, script parsing, and we also improved the trend data so you can see more clearly the performance over an extended period of time. Then the other small update that we have done is a improvement to our shared link functionality. So in the past, you couldn't, when you created a share link, it wouldn't show the specific set of columns that the person who created the share link might wanted to have included, whereas now it does. So the viewers of the share link will see exactly the columns and the sort order that was applied when the link is shared. Then we have also added a functionality to save the static HTML and rendered HTML of every single page that we crawl within a project. So this is really great to potentially investigate any anomalies in the data, as obviously our crawls are an in-moment snapshot of the page. So sometimes by the time you come to look at the data, maybe some things have changed. So the saved HTML is a really great way to check what might be causing that discrepancy. And then the screenshot is also a great way to see what our crawler saw when the crawl took place, should there again be something that you need to double check on to see what might be causing that issue. So this does come with a small credit cost. It's very minimal. So to store the HTML or the screenshot of every single page is 0.1 credit per page. So if you enabled both of the options, it would be 0.2. But that is because we do store the information. So that's what the credit cost kind of attributes to. And we store the HTML and the screenshot for 90 days after the crawl took place. This can be activated in the advanced settings in step 4, almost at the very bottom of all the settings. Then we have also added 2 new reports relating to unavailable after directives from the robots.txt file. So now we're able to capture that directive for both pages that have already become unavailable and also for pages that are going to become unavailable. So these are the 2 names of the new reports. So you can keep track, especially with like the Christmas season coming up, if you have any kind of like promotional campaigns and you do not want certain things indexed afterwards, these reports are going to help you keep track of those pages. And this can be found specifically under the indexability section, and then more specifically the non-indexable part of the indexability dashboard. Then we have also made some exciting updates to the hreflang reports. So we have added new metrics. So one for language summary, dominant language, identified hreflang language mismatch, and URL to dominant languages. So I'm just going to again jump back into the tool and show the language summary, just because this layout of how we present the data is quite new, and it's something that we recently started doing. So with the languages summary, it actually shows the percentage of the language content on the page. So obviously with Lumar, we do primarily have English, but this could be really great way of tracking for internationalization, especially when you might have 2 different languages on the page to see the content. So these improvements can help monitor the content of the page as well, and then checking if the hreflang matches to that. So these metrics allowed us to help create these 2 new reports. The first one is an improvement on a report that we already had existing, but like I mentioned, to help identify where the hreflang attribute does not match to the language of the page. And then the other report is pages with hreflang and page language conflict. So you can actually see if the content of the page matches the hreflang, not just the link itself. Then a small update relating to color contrast and accessibility. So now we have a screenshot of the color contrast added to the issue. So instead of having to navigate the page to inspect each of the elements, we show you a screenshot of how what the color contrast looks like in action as well under the page detail view. And then lastly, we had the robots.txt settings cleanup. So in the past, we had to control the behavior of robots.t was in multiple different places in the settings. We have merged it all into a single settings group under robots.txt in step 4 under the advanced settings. So now they're all in one place. If you need to make any changes, it's a lot simpler to find where they all are. Over to you, Z.
Amazing. Thank you, Lila. Amazing app updates as well that we've got coming out. I know a lot of them are quality of life improvements, making everyone's life a lot easier, making process a lot more streamlined and quicker, but some real big value adds in there, especially with the AI ticket content generation and just the overall use of AI within the tool. I think it's going in the right direction, just making things a lot more accessible to everybody, making sure that everyone can sort of get the insights that they need to and do the actionable insights and actually take action on all those insights. So I think it's really good to see. Perfect. So what's coming up? So I'll be going through some updates around what is going to be coming up in the tool over the next sort of 3 to 6 months. Quick safe harbor statement just around the subject to change that some of these updates might have. Also to do with the timelines as well. So have a quick browse of that while it's on the screen. But the notion here and the idea here is just things are subject to change. So things might be delayed, things might be brought forward, and timelines may change. Thanks, Lil. So just going through each of these one by one very briefly. So the first one, custom reports. So custom reports will be the ability to change metrics and filter reports and save as a new report to enable trend analysis. So it's effectively being able to pick the metrics that are important to you on a specific set of pages or a specific criteria and have that report within the tool itself. The idea here is we want you to be able to get more granular in your analysis. We want you to be able to focus on specific areas and spot, let's say, spikes, track trends, the ones that are important to you, rather than what others may tell you what to do. So it's sort of giving you the power to choose the reports that are the most meaningful to you. The next one is the Crux origin data. So the inclusion of origin data, so this is at the domain level, not the URL level from the Chrome user experience report, so Crux, in the site speed and SEO crawls. At the moment with site speed, it's using Lighthouse, so it's all lab data. So adding this is the next step towards having a more inclusive performance auditing repertoire. So being able to do actionable insights on both the field data as well as lab data. So this will add additional insights into the real user experience, so not just the sort of prime sort of environment. So when looking at sort of site speed improvements as a whole, so we want to be able to give you the power to have field data for core web vitals, including next interaction to next paint, which was the replacement to first input delay. So then the next couple ones are around pulling conversion data from analytics. So this is quite a big one. This one I've been really excited for actually, because it's now tying in something a bit more tangible and measurable that's more of a wider business goal into tying it directly into SEO. So the ability to pull the conversion data from analytics into the Lumar platform. That way, as you start making improvements, especially if you're in a space where conversions are one of your key KPIs, being able to then track that in the tool as you're making improvements, hopefully helps paint that picture as well around the improvements you're making and the impact it has on the overall performance of conversions. And then the final one for the analyzing data is the manual upload of conversion data as well. So as much as we're doing the automatic one, not everybody uses Google Analytics. So if you're using an additional analytics platform, let's say like Adobe, for example, or you're using one that's maybe less common, that's rather than the two sort of main ones, then we'll be able to also include conversion data into the tool per crawl. So while the manual aspect is a little bit more time consuming, it still means you can at least get your data in the tool and at least track it over time as well. So then the final ones are on action data. So the new task manager, you've already seen an update when Lila showed you with the AI ticket generation as well as the layout. So this will be released in stages. The first stage was this AI ticket content generation. The next improvements will be sort of the view to the tasks and the overall workflow about how you can sort of categorize tasks and so on. So the idea here is we want to be able to make it more manageable and a bit more collaborative as well. So you streamlining these processes should help speed things up as well as the time to fix as well, because everyone's a bit more in the know around the process. It's a bit more streamlined and the collaboration's a bit more optimized. The next one is around monitor alerts and protect tests on health scores. So this is just the ability to set up monitor alerts and tests in protect using health scores. So up until now, it's been mainly based on an absolute number around a specific issue. So if, for example, you wanted to be alerted if no index pages exceeded a certain number, now it could be more around your indexability health score going up or down a certain number. So maybe you want to be alerted if it goes well, in which case you want to be able to report on it, or maybe you want to report if it drops below a certain number so that you can go in and action and figure out what's the actual issue. And sort of start rectifying and putting into motion different fixes. So then the next one's around custom reports and monitor as well. So this is the ability to create dashboards and alerts and monitor using the custom reports that you might be able to create from step one. So for example, here it might be that you want to look at specifically blog pages up to a certain click depth, and you create a custom report on that. You can then include that custom report in monitor and then report on any alerts on that specific custom report. And then the final one is site speed KPIs in monitor. So this is the ability to create dashboards and alerts and monitor using the site speed KPIs. So this is the core web vitals, so FCP, LCP, and so on. So being able to use those metrics as more of a high level way of monitoring for site speed issues itself. So this is the bonus custom reports. So you can create custom reports from a filtered data set of any existing Lumar report. Custom reports will also include any columns changes you've made. So if, for example, you wanted to select 5 columns with metrics that are important to you, you can save that within the custom report rather than it being like a stock or a default set of columns. And then you can return to an actionable data set and track trends over time. So that's the whole point. We want to give everyone the power to track the data itself, the actual data itself that's most meaningful to you. So you're not spending too much time digging around. You've got the data there whenever you need it. So this is hopefully going to be released quite soon if it hasn't already by the time you watch this. So then I just want to finish off with a poll question. So this is, would you like a one-to-one session to dive into any of these features or what we have coming soon in more detail? And that should now pop up on the screen. We'll leave it up for a couple of moments. Give everyone a chance to answer. I'm a bit biased, but I would personally pick yes.
Yeah, I think you might be a little bit biased.
Yeah. Amazing. So we've got some time for some questions if there are any. Otherwise, we will finish it there. And if you do have any questions, you can reach out to your CSM if you have one, or we also have our generic Lumar email. So if you want any questions, you want to talk to anybody, please do reach out to us. We'd be more than happy to help if you had any questions on anything we've gone through today or anything additional as a whole of Lumar itself.
Z, this is my first time doing it, but I think one of the attendees has their hands up. So what do we do about that? I could just see in the attendees tab, there was a little hands up icon, but I could be wrong if that's not how is best. I
don't believe so, no.
That's
not that I can see. If someone does have their hand up and they want to ask a question, feel free to reach out to us directly. So this is just a quick one before we all go away. Recent content that might be of interest. So we've got the July release review, which we did previously. That was in July. That goes through some of the previous updates. The next release review will be in January. So as I mentioned, we're doing this every few months. So we go through all the fun updates in January 16th. And then just a reminder that the knowledge base is accessible there at help.lumar.io. So any questions that you might have that you want to have a bit of read yourself or read a bit more into in more detail on specific items around the tool or different data points, everything's there in the knowledge base. Fantastic. Thank you very much for everyone who attended. And yeah, if you've got any questions, feel free to reach out to us. And if you want to revisit this webinar, we'll send this out in a few days. But thanks so much for attending and hope you have a lovely rest of the day.
Thanks, everyone.